Okay. Okay, for the first one, mm, okay, for the first one, we have this include. Okay. And then we have this file. Okay. A pointer to file. Okay. So here we declare a pointer to file, and then we can open the file. So you can copy paste this opening a file from this one. Okay. For example, this one. Okay. So what happened here? We just use fopen to open the file here. Okay. Open the file. You can actually open it without checking for error. For example, you can open it like this. Okay. Fopen. Okay. W. So this one actually you open without checking for error. Okay. Without checking for error. But it's good if you can open the file checking for error, which is this one. Okay. So this one actually you can check for error. So this one will open the file. This is open function. Okay, to open your file client data, for example here. Okay, this one we can change it to something else. You can name your file any name. Okay. You can give it any name here. Actually, we don't have the name here. Okay, you can put it any name. For example, data. Okay. Data.txt or dat, it doesn't matter. Okay. And then after we use fopen, if you can open the file, then the file will be assigned to the pointer. Okay. But if fopen fail, then your pointer will get null. Okay. So that's why we check for null value in case fopen is fail. Okay. So if fopen is fail, so your pointer will become null. Okay. Here you check for null value. And then if that happen, then you display this to the user. File could not be opened. Okay. But if you can open the file, then you get to the else part. Okay. So here we have else part. Okay. So then since you can open the file, then you can do more things to the file. Okay. So that part. So this one, you open the file and then get input from the user. Okay. So for example, we can get a string from the user, isn't it? So we can declare one variable of type character array. For example, input, okay, of type character array. The length is 30, okay. So then you can ask the user to enter the input, okay. So printf, okay, ask the user to enter a string, for example, isn't it? Okay. And then the user will enter the string, and then we get the string from the user. For example, get string. Okay, get string input. Okay. So you get the string from the user. And then once you got the string from the user, then you can store this string into the file. Okay, so we are opening the file for writing. So you can actually, in order to to write to the file, you use printf. Okay, fprintf to the file. Here, you need to specify the file pointer. Okay, this pointer point to the file. Okay, and then you need to specify what the data that you are writing to the file, which is a string. Okay, and then you just supply the string input. Okay, so this one will print the data to the file, the input from the user. Okay, you are writing to this file, the pointer point to the file. Okay, and then after that is done, then we can actually close the file, f close cf pointer. Okay, so this one we can try compile it, see whether it works or not. Okay, this is lab 10. Okay, 1. Okay, so we have this data.txt. If you look at the directory we have here, okay, we don't have data.txt here. Okay, so when you run your program, since we don't have the file, so the program will create the file for you. Okay, so we run the program, and then if you look at the directory again, so here we have the data.txt. Okay, so the file has been created. So now actually we can input the string that we want. So this is, we input the string. So this is a string for input. Okay, and then that's it. So the program just simply get the data from the user and then put it into the file. So if you look at the file, the content of the file here, okay, so this is what we input just now. Okay, this is a string for input. Okay, we have successfully write to the file. Okay, the data input by the user and then put it into the file. Understand, class? The first one, just to write to the file. Isn't it? So you get input from the user and then put it into the file. So this is sequential file. Okay, sequential file. So every input from the user, everything that you write to the file will be considered as a character. Okay, considered as a character. Even if you write a number, okay, it will stored as a character into the file. Okay, but later on when you read it, then you can actually the file conversion specifier, the format conversion specifier will read the data as number or integer. Okay. Okay, that is the first one, where we open the file and then write to the file, getting from input from the user. You can also use this fput string. Fput string, you can use this put data. Okay, for example, here we can, instead of fprintf, okay, we can try to use fput string. Okay, fput string to the file, which is input, and then cfpr. Okay, so now let's say we run the program again. Okay, we, instead of using fprintf, we use fput string. Okay, and then we run the program. Okay, enter a string. This is another run. Okay, this is another run. Okay, and then we open the file. Okay, we open the file. Go back here. Okay, this is your file. So what happened when you open your file using writing? Okay, the content of the previous file actually will be deleted. Okay, will be overwritten by the new one. Okay, so you don't have the content, the previous one. Okay, the previous actually will be deleted from the file. So you can actually use put string to put string to your file, okay, or fprintf. It seems that put string actually is much simpler. Okay, you just specify the data you want to write and then the pointer to your file. Okay. Okay, class. So that is number one. And then read a file and display its content. So open the file that we have using fopen, but now you need to open for reading arrow. Okay. So what we do here, we just read the content of the file and then display it on the screen. Okay. So you can use this get character or get string. Okay. Fscanf also can be used to read the file. Okay. Fread is for binary file. Okay. So we can use this get string. Okay. Get string. So this one, we save as this one. Okay. For another one, number 10 2. Okay. So this one, instead of writing to the file, we want to read the file. Okay. Read the file. And then we don't enter the string, but we read the file. Okay. Read the file. So here we get string. Get string. This one, you need to specify the string. Okay. So we use input, okay, to store the data that we get from the file. And then this is the pointer to the file. Okay. So we read the file. Okay. And then we put the data into our variable input. And then we can actually write the data back on the screen. Okay. So we can use this put string, or we can put printf. Okay. Printf actually will print on the screen. Okay, this is normal printf. So we are printing a string. Okay. And then this is the string. Okay. So now we can try to compile the program. Get string. This one. What is the syntax? Get s. Get string. Passing argument to get and make integer from pointer without a cast. Input. Oh, this is get string. Oh, this is not the way to write, to use the get string. You need to put it like this: input equal to get string. Okay. So get string will return the data that we get from the file. Okay, and then we assign to input. Okay. And then this is another one, passing argument to. Oh, this is character array, isn't it? So we are getting the string. How do you read a string from file? Get s. Get character. How do you read the string from a file? Get s. Get string. Struct file. Oh, struct file. Get string. We look at the node get string. What is the syntax? F close. What is the syntax for F get string class? Any one of you have tried it? Get string from that one. Lab. Printf input while F get string input 30. Oh, use that one. The okay. Yeah, you need to specify the size. Okay, you need to specify the size in get string. Okay, so this one get string, you need to specify the input. Okay, this is your variable, and then you need to specify the size, and then the pointer to the file. Okay, get string. So this is how you get string, because if you look at the note here, it doesn't say what is the syntax. Okay, so you need to know the syntax, because get character is different. Get character is not like this, but you can get character will return a value, and then you assign it to your variable. But the get string, actually you put the variable in the string, okay, in the function. Okay, now when you run the program, then you get the string. Okay, this is the data. Okay, for example, if you change your file to this, okay, we change the file. Okay, and then you save your data here. Okay, and then you run your program again. It will read your file and then output it on the screen. Okay, so this is the output. Okay, when we change the content of the file just now. Okay, so this program actually read the data from the file and then put it on the screen, put it back on the screen. Okay, so this is the format. Okay, for get string. Okay, get string from a file. You need to specify the size of the string. Okay, the size of your array character array. So just now we got it wrong. Okay, or you can read character by character. Okay, character by character. For example, you can check for end of file to stop reading the file. Okay, and then put it on the screen. Okay, so that is number 2, isn't it? Okay, for get string, or you can use this get character. Get character is a bit different. Okay, and then create program to count characters, words, and line in a text file. Okay, so if you change this to get character, this one you need to declare character here. Okay, let's say we don't use this. Okay, so we read a character from the file. Okay, so else, so what we do, we get character equal to, so this one is actually get character, f get character. It's a bit different. Okay, we assign it like this instead of get string. Get string, actually we don't assign to the variable, but the variable goes into the parameter of the file of the function. So here we get character from this file. Okay. For example, here the file is cfptr. Okay. So get character, and then we check whether the character is end of file or not. So while, okay, while not end of file of the file, okay, f end of file, okay, the file cfptr, okay, is, then we do this. Okay, and then we put the string, we put the character on the screen. Okay. And then we read the character again, okay, from the file pointer. Okay, see whether this one works or not. This one is else. Oh, this one is incorrect. Okay. Printf is not string anymore, but this one is character. Okay. This is ch. Okay. And then we run it. So we get the same output, but here actually we read the file character by character until we get end of file. Okay. So we read one character by character. So this is another way to read the file, but we don't read the whole string at once, but we read character by character until we get to end of file. Okay. And then another one. Number 3, create a program to count characters, words, and lines in a text file. Okay. So this one, we have this file like this. Okay. So the output should actually give us the number of character in the file. Okay. How to count the number of character? Here we have the instruction here. Okay, we can increment the count when we found this. Okay, we found this character equal to space or tab. Okay, or new line or null value. Then we can increase the count, word count. Okay, so we go back to this program. And then we save as, okay, save as to number 3. Okay. And then we read the file, and then we want to count how many characters are there. So this is, we meaning that we need to read the file character by character. Okay. And then check whether the character is space or not. Okay. So while we don't get to end of file yet, so what we do, okay, we just check if, okay, if this is happening, which is that the character is equal to space or tab, okay, or that one. Okay, so what we do, we need to declare the counter here. Okay, the counter integer. Here we have how many counter? We need to count the character counter, and then word counter. So this one we set to 0 because we want to count how many. Okay, so we need to start from 0. And then line, isn't it? We need to count how many lines. Okay, set to 0 as well. So we have 3 things. Okay, which is character, words, and lines. Okay. So we get character from the file and then check if it is not end of file. Then we check if it is the space and so on. So what do we need to increase? We need to increase the increment the words count, and then words count only. Okay, and then increment the line count when we get to this one. Okay, new line or null value. Okay, and then every time we read a character, then we can increase the character count because we are reading a character. So you can actually increase the character count every time we get into the while loop. Okay, because we got a character already from the file, isn't it? Every character you read from the file actually will be considered as a character. So we can increase the character count. So this one, when we got that, then this one actually we can increase the word count. Okay. And then another one is when we get to this condition, we get to a new line or null value, then we can increase the line count. Okay. So if we get this, okay, then we increase the line count. Okay. Okay. And then this one, we don't need to print it on the screen anymore. Okay. But we still will need to read the character. Okay. After we done with that character, we read another character until we get to end of file. So the while loop actually will be repeatedly executed, and then the count will be increased. Okay. So this one we can check whether it's correct or not. Okay. So we have here in the file just one line. So we can compile the program and then run it. Oh, not yet. We don't have the output yet here, isn't it? After you do the while loop, here we need to output printf the character, total character, isn't it? Total character, total words, total line. Okay. Total characters is this one. Okay, character count. Okay. And then we have another one. Total words, total line. Okay. This is a word count. Okay, and then total line. This is a line count. Okay. And then see whether it's correct or not. We just run it and then see. So if you look at the output here, okay, we have total 18 characters. Total word is 3, but we have 0 line. Okay, meaning that the number of line is incorrect. Okay, this is because when you read the file, end of file is actually sit at the end of the line. Okay, so when we get to end of the line, there is a end of file there, so the program will stop. We don't get into the while loop, so the line has not been increased because the moment we found the end of file or null value, then we don't get into the while loop anymore. So line will not be increased. So that's why we got 0 line. Okay. So this one we need to increase the line after we get there. Okay. So here the total of word as well is not correct, isn't it? Because here we have 4 words, but here only we got 3. Okay. Only 3 words, so we don't count it correctly. So we need to increase the total words as well because the last word has not been counted because we reached the end of file there. Okay, at the end of the last word. Okay, so we need to put here word count plus, and then we need to increase line count as well plus. Okay, to get it correct. Okay, so when you run the program, then you get it correct. Okay. To test it further, you can actually enter another line. So this is another line. This also a line. Last line. Yeah. Okay. So we have 4 lines. Okay, and then we save the file. Okay, and then when you run the program, so we got here, okay, 4 lines, 15 words. If you count the number of words, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, and then there are 70 characters. Okay, and then 4 lines. Okay, class. That is number 3. We open the file for reading. Okay, and then we read character by character. Okay, character by character. And then exercise 6, searching in binary file. Okay, that is number 3. Okay, for the first one. So I think that one is finished already, isn't it? So that is the last one. Okay. And then we go to the next one. Okay. Go to the next one, which is 10B. Okay, this one is the another lab. Okay, another lab. So create a program to allow user to enter a series of student details, name, metric, number, and program continuously. To complete the input process, the entered student details should be saved in sequential access file named student data. Student data. Okay. So this is done. Okay, we go back to the program, close this one. Okay, we create another one. Okay, this is where we ask the user to enter the student data. And then the entire student data should be saved in a sequential file. Okay, name as student data. Okay, so we use that one. Okay, so here we have include. Okay, and then we have main. Okay. So first of all, when you have this working with file, so you need to declare your file pointer first. Okay, you need to declare your file pointer file. Okay, this is a pointer to file. Okay, and then you open your file because you want to read the file, so you can copy paste from this one. Okay, open your file. Okay, put it here. But now the file name is not client.dat but student. Okay, student.dat. We are open for writing. Okay, we get the input from the user. And then the user will enter the data and then we write to the file. Okay. So what we do here, first of all, we need to get a few variable here. Okay, first of all, we need to get the name of the student. So we can declare name array character of array. Character array, for example, size 30. Okay, and then we need to get the metric number as well, isn't it? And then the program. Okay, enter the name, metric, and program. Okay, name, metric, integer, and then program. Program is array. Okay, program is program of size 5, for example. Okay, because there's only 2 letter words, isn't it? IS, MC, SE. Okay. Else, here we get here. Okay, so we ask the user to enter the data. Enter the name, metric, and program. The name, metric, and program. Okay. And then here we need to put enter end of file to end input. Okay. End of file to end. Okay. And then we printf. Okay, we put the question mark there. Okay, so the user can enter at the question mark. Okay, for input. And then we can just scanf, get it from the user. Okay. So we ask scanf. Here we get a string. Okay. And then metric number is integer. And then another string. Okay. And then this is we assign to name. And then the metric. And then the program. Okay. Program. So we got all the data from the user, and then now we can actually write it to the file. So we allow the user to always enter the data. So the program will always run and then get the input from the user and then put it into the file. So we use this while loop. Okay. And then check for if the user enter the end of file. So end of file not equal not f end of file. This is from the input stream. Okay, standard input. Okay, not from the file. This is from standard input, which is the keyboard. Okay. So while it is not end of file, then we do this. Okay. So what we do, we just print the data into the file. So we can use f print f. Okay. When you print the data to the file, you need to specify the file pointer. Okay. And then the data you are writing to the file, which is the string. Okay. String. And then the integer. And then another one is a string. Okay. And then we can also print a new line so that the new data will go to a new line. Okay, in the file. Otherwise, your file will continue. Okay, there's no new line in the file. So we print a new line to the file. Similar the way we print new line on the screen. Okay. So here we put the name to the file and then metric. Okay. And then this is program. Okay. So the data come from those variables and then put it into the file. So here, and then we ask the user to enter the data again. Okay. Here we just put the question mark similar to the up there. And then the user will enter the data there. And then we just scanf this again. Okay. So the while loop actually will repeatedly executed until we enter the end of file, which is Control Z. Okay, for this one. Okay. And then after we done that, then we can close the file. Okay. Close the file. So this one, when you try to compile this one, this is lab 7, lab 10B. Okay, 1. Okay, and then we run the program. Okay, look at the directory. We have the file here. Where is it? Student dot, yeah, here it is, student.dat. Okay, student.dat. And then you can enter the data here. Okay, if you look at the sample here, we have Jane, okay, metric number, MC, okay, and then another one is N, okay, metric number, and then IS, and then Ben, metric number, okay, and then SE. Okay, enter as many data, Alan, okay, and then program is IS, for example. Okay, and then we enter the end of file. Okay, so that end the input. If you look at the file we have here, okay, the data actually get into the file. See? Okay, class. So we are writing the variable to the file. Okay. So all these variable actually, all this data actually they are in character. Okay, this is a character. So if you read a string from this file, it will get the whole line as a string. Okay, the whole line as a string. But if you use scanf actually can detect, okay, the space between the data, so that your data actually will get into 3 variable, okay, using scanf. But if you read string actually will get the whole string, the whole line as a string, okay. So we can use scanf to read the data one by one, okay. So that is number this one, okay, to enter the data into the file. And then number 2, read from a sequential file. Okay, so when we read from a sequential file, as I said just now, we need to read it one by one. Okay, using scanf. Scanf actually, when you get to the space, scanf will stop reading the data. Okay, so this is the first one. Okay, to write to the file. And then we can create another one to read from the file. Same thing, it's just open for reading. Okay, so this one actually we save it to number 2. Okay. Okay, now instead of opening the file for writing, we open the file for reading. So we put R here. Okay. We have the file already here. Oh, not this one. The data just now. Okay. The student data. And then we don't put here this one. Okay, it's not this one anymore. We just read the file. Okay. So this one, we don't put it here. Okay. Else, okay, we read the file. Okay. Read the file. We print at first. Print. We print the title. Okay, the title. The title is this one. The name, metric, and program. Okay, name, metric, and program. So we put the title on the screen. Okay. So printf, the title is name. Okay, we can use tab, for example, metric. and then another tab, and then program. Okay, and then new line. Okay, so we get the title on the screen, and then we get the input from the file. So while it's not standard input anymore, because now input actually come from the file. Okay, so we can check for file pointer. So cfptr. So while the pointer is not end of file, okay, so we read the file, okay, cfptr. It's not printf, but here we use fscanf, okay. fscanf, okay, the file pointer, and then we are reading this few things, okay, a string, and then a number, and then the program, okay, and then we print it on the screen, so we don't use this anymore. Okay, we just print it. This one is printf. Print it on the screen. Okay, so we just print one string, and then we put tab, and then another number, and then tab, and then string. Okay, printf, we don't have this one. Okay, fscanf, so we need to put this. This is scanf. Okay, scanf in file similar to scanf, normal scanf. We need to have this address operator. Okay, for metric. Program and name we don't need because they are array name. Okay, they are array name is a pointer. Okay, content address. So this one we read it and then print it. Okay, see whether it works or not. Okay, we run the program. Okay, and then we compile and then run. See, we forgot to put a new line. Okay, forgot to put a new line, so the output is not good. So put a new line here on your printf. Okay, and then scanf. So this scanf, we don't need to put this a new line. Okay, and then we compile it again, and then we run the program. Okay, now it's look good. Okay, class, this is the data that we have. But Alan got printed twice. Alan got printed twice. Why it got printed twice? Because we have here the new line. Okay, the last line is actually empty line. So we just, to make sure that there's Alan actually is not printed twice, we make sure the end of file actually right after the last line. Okay. Okay, now when you run the program again, okay, so now we got Alan only once. Okay. Okay, class. So that is number 2, isn't it? Okay, we read from the file. Using scanf actually can detect space between the data. Okay, so we can read name, metric, and program. Okay, so the metric number, it is a character, but it is number. Okay, we can check for the alpha, alphanumeric. If it is number, then we can actually put it into integer. Okay, and then what else? The next one, isn't it? Okay, using the same file student created, okay, in exercise 1, list down all students based on program requested by user. The same output is illustrated, okay, here. Okay, we choose 1. Oh, this one is incorrect. See, it is MC. Student account with MC is IS. Student account with SE is SE. Oh, SE is correct, but not IS. Okay, so this program got the sample run is not correct. Okay, so this one we can actually check whether the the program is the student is in the right program or not. Okay, if they are in the right program, then we print out the name. Okay, so here we can adjust our program. So this one we save as. Okay, save as to number 3. Okay, save. So what we do here, we read the file again. Okay, and then we got all the name here. Okay, so what we do, we don't, the output actually a bit different. We have a menu there. So enter request. Okay, so we go back to the program, enter request. So we open the file, and then here we ask the user to enter request. Okay. Okay, and then printf. Okay, enter request. Okay, and then is it a new line? Okay, new line there. And then we just printf. There are some menu here, isn't it? Okay, this is number 1. Okay, 1. List student with MC IS program. IS program. Okay. And then we have another one. And then another one. And then the last one is for exit. Okay, number 2, list student with MC and SE. Okay, so this is MC. And then this is SE. Okay, number 3. And then number 4, end of run. Okay, number 4. Okay, and then we get the input. Okay, so we just put here a question mark. Okay, so the user will input there. And then we get the request. Okay, so scanf. Okay, we are reading an integer. So this is request. So we need to put a request here. Variable request. Okay. So what do we do? The user will get the list there. And then we check, okay, student with IS. Student with IS, not account. Okay. So we just switch request. Okay, switch request. And then case, okay, 1. Then, so we do the thing here. Okay, case 1. So what do we do? So first of all, we read the file. Okay, so while not end of file, we list the student name. Okay, so we copy this one, put it here. Okay, so before we can print the student name on the screen, then we need to check. Okay, this is a while loop. Okay, while loop. Okay, so we need to check whether the program is actually a MC or not. Okay, So if program we string compare, so you need to compare the string. Use string compare to compare the string, okay, strcmp. Compare the string program, and another one is, maybe we can use this one. We check this one first, okay? It works or not. So if string compare actually return a true, which is 0, okay, then we print out the name, okay, and then that is for MC. Can we do this or not? Okay, string compare. We just do it like that first. Later on, if we got error, then we can change it. Okay, this is number 2. Okay, this is number 3. Okay, this is IS. This is S. So this one we delete it. Okay, switch. Oh, this is else, isn't it? Oh, this is else. Okay, this is switch. This is this one. This is this one. Okay, see whether it works or not. Okay, just to check whether it's work or not. Switch SWI. Okay, run it again. And then we have the data file already. Not sure whether it's correct. Okay, here we have the run. And then we have the data, isn't it? Look at the data. Okay, we have MCIS and SE. Okay, so we check for first one. We don't get it run. Okay, close the program. So case 1, switch request. Scan F. Oh, this one actually incorrect. So we need to put the address operator. So that's why we got the runtime error. Okay, so we run it again. Okay, so we just check for number 1. Okay, we got the MC correct. So the first one is correct, meaning that the rest is actually also correct. Okay. So when we search for the name, we search for MC. So we need actually to rewind the file pointer so that the file pointer will get to the to the beginning of the file again before we do another if we do this repeatedly. Okay, repeatedly. So how do we create a while loop? Okay, while not end of file, then we run the program continuously, isn't it? So what we do here, we can we got to end of file because we use this while loop. End of file will end there, isn't it? Oh, we can actually do here. Okay, do, and then we check for requests. Do. Okay, so that we get it repeatedly. Okay, a loop. Okay, and then this is all in the do while. Okay, and then this is the case. This program is a bit long, okay? And then this is a do, all that thing, and then while, okay? While, so this is the while. That is a switch. So this is the do, okay? While request, not equal to 4, okay? So that one actually will repeatedly do this, okay? You get another request, okay? So you can run it, okay? And then before we get to another search, we need to rewind the file pointer, okay? Rewind the file pointer. So just before we exit, okay, at the end of the do while, so we need to rewind. Rewind your file pointer so that it get to the beginning of file again, so that we can search the file again for another program, okay? And then request. Okay, 4 is not there, isn't it? So meaning that if you put 4, nothing will happen, it will exit, okay? So this is the list. Okay, let's say we want number 1. Oh, now 1 is actually IS, not MC, okay? We have MC, IS, and so 1 is IS, MC, SE. So we put it incorrectly in order, not in order. 1 is MC, not IS, isn't it? But the menu is IS. So that is number 1. Let's say we want to check for, later on we just fix it first, okay? Number 4, exit. So this one is IS, not MC, okay? IS, this one is MC. Number 2, okay? SE is the last one. Okay, class, oh, now we get it correct. Okay, number 1, that is IS. Okay, number 2 is MC. Number 3 is SE. There's only one SE in the file. Okay, and then we rewind the file pointer so that the file pointer will get to the beginning of file again. Okay, okay, class, any question about this one? Okay, you understand, right? What happened here? We have a menu and then the request. And then if it is 1, then we search, we read the file and then check. If we got IS, then we print it out. Otherwise, we don't do anything. So this is for if part, okay? The if part. Okay, and then if it is number 4, then we don't do anything, okay? Okay, and then this is number 4, we fix it. Okay. And then you go to the next one. Okay, go to the next one. Sample program output display list of student. Okay. Okay, number 4, writing to a binary file. Okay, this one. We write to binary file. Binary file, normally we don't write the data one by one, but we group the data into a structure, and then we write the structure to the file. Okay, so create a program to allow users to enter the marks of 3 subjects for 4 students, namely introduction to discrete math and SAD. Save all the entered record in a random access file named marks.bin, the sample program output. Oh, like this. Okay, student 1, student 2, student 3, 7, 4. Okay. So normally, we don't actually store the we actually group the data for every student as a record, okay, as a record. So we don't actually write the data one by one to the file, okay. So we create a structure for this program, so that one structure contain information for one student, okay. So you can actually create, and here actually we just have a mark for the student. We don't store name of the student, so your structure actually simply just to store the marks, okay, store the marks. So this one we close it, okay. So we create another one. So we have include stdio.h, okay, main, and then this one. So what we have here, we need to create a structure. So structure, we can put it outside here, okay. struct, struct, okay. For example, we can call it marks for student, okay, marks, and then this is the struct, okay, and then we have the mark is, okay, we can put it into integer or like integer. Okay, just want to show how you store the data into binary file. Okay, so here we have ITP, okay, discrete mathematics, and then data structure, DSA. Okay, 3 marks. Okay, so what we have here, we need to declare one variable, okay, of type structure marks, and then we get the mark for one student, and then we can write this mark to the file, okay. So here we have struct, okay, marks, okay, the markah, for example, okay, and then we create a file pointer to the file, okay, fptr, for example, okay, and then we open the file, okay, we open the file, we can copy paste this one, okay, we open the file, and then we can name the file according to the question just now. It says marks.bin, okay, so marks dot binary, okay. This is for writing binary. So if you open for binary file, so it is WB, okay. So WB, if you don't have the file, it will create the file for you, okay. You open for writing, similar to W for sequential file, but this one actually for binary file, okay. So if it is null, then we put it like that, else, okay, else, then we just do this one, okay. So here we ask the user to enter the marks, okay, print f, okay. So ask the user to enter the marks. Enter marks for 4 students, okay, enter marks for 4 students, okay, for 4 students, and then student 1, okay, so we have this one, okay, and then we have we can use for loop to get the marks for 4 students, okay. Every time we read the marks, and then we put it, okay, we read the marks from the user, so we can use for loop here, okay. So we need one variable I, okay, I equal to 1, okay, I less than 5, less or equal to 4, for example. Okay, there are 4 students, I++. Okay, so we need another integer here. Okay, I. Okay, and then we display the output to the user so that they can enter the data. Student 1, ITP, okay, student 1, that, so we can use for loop is good. Okay, printf, okay, student number 1, okay, this one is ITP, okay, so the user will enter the marks there. Is I, okay, and then this is scanf, okay, the mark, which is integer, okay, and then we put it in our mark, markah, okay, markah dot ITP, okay, dot ITP, put it in the structure, okay, and then the same thing for another marks, okay, so we just copy paste this one for another one. So this is discrete mathematics. Okay, so this is discrete mathematics. Okay, and then another one, this is for DSA. Okay, so this one is for DSA. Okay, so you will get the output like this one. Okay. And then after we got all the data for the first student, so what we do, so we write the mark to the file. Okay, so here DSA data structure, isn't it? System analysis and design, or SAD. System analysis and design, or SAD here. Okay, so this is SAD. Okay, SAD. Okay, so we got data for one object. So we write to the file. So we use the write, isn't it? For random access, fwrite. Okay, fwrite your object. Okay, my object, the object that you want to write, which is the struct. Okay, the size of your struct. Okay, the number of record you want to write. Normally it is 1. And then the pointer to your file. Okay, pointer to your file. So here what we do here. So we have fwrite. Okay, and then here we write the markah, the object. Okay, the structure that we created up here, markah. All the data is in this markah. And then this is size of the mark of your structure. Okay, marks. And then how many? Oh, struct marks. Okay, we need to put struct. Okay, struct marks. Okay, how many data? 1 data. And then to the file pointer, which is fptr, that we open here. Okay, see or not see fptr, it is fptr. Okay. So this is writing for first student, and then we read another one for the second student for the for loop. Okay, and then write it to the file. Okay, write it to the file. And then after we write to the file, so that is for loop, this is else, then we can close the file. Okay, so here f close fptr. Okay. Okay, now we can try to compile the file. This is number lab and B number 4, isn't it? Okay. Okay, and then we run the program. So this is the run. Okay, so first student. So first student ITP 66. Okay, so we got, so we scan F actually wrong because there's no address operator. Okay, scan F. Where is our scan F here? Yeah, this one. Okay, you put this the mark. Okay, don't forget that. Normally, when you get the runtime error, it is about the address operator. Okay, and then we run it again. Okay, so this one is the mark here. Okay, 66, 50, 75. This student 2, so we need to put another printf there, okay, to get the space. So 92, 95, 88. Student 3 is 72, 50, and then 78, and then this one is 90, 72, and then 64. Data is saved in file. Okay, you can put that printf at the end to say that the data has been saved. Okay, can we look at the data? Okay, we look at the data here. It is marks bin, isn't it? So this one. So this one, when you try to open it, this is a binary file. All the data is actually written as object to the file. Okay, more apps. This one not bad. Okay, so as you can see, you cannot see the data here. It looks like this. Okay. Okay, later on we'll see whether we can read the data or not. Okay. Now we go back to the program. So that one actually we have written the data to the file. And then this is done for number 4. Okay, writing to a binary file. And then reading from a binary file. So here we try to read the data from the binary file that we created. Based on the mark bin created info, read all the mark information for all the students from the file and then display it on screen on show. Or this one, we just convert this program. Instead of writing, we reading. Okay, so this one we save as, okay, save as number 5. Okay, number 5. So now instead of reading for writing, with this we need to open the file for reading. Reading binary, we need to RB. Okay, reading binary. Okay, now we just get into the else part. Okay, and then the output is look like this. Marks for 4 students. Marks for 4 students. So we put it like that. So we don't have this anymore. We just put here marks for 4 students. Okay, marks for 4 students. So we put it like this. Marks for 4 students. Okay. And then student number 1 ITP. Okay, we read the file and then we print it out. Okay, it is in one line. Okay, student number 1 and then ITP DM SAD. Okay, we read the file, so this one is not here anymore. Okay, we read the file So for that one, we need to check for end of file, isn't it? Okay, we open the file. We can read the object. Okay. So here we use this fread instead of fwrite. Okay, fread. Okay. And then we are reading the markah. Okay. And then reading. That is fwrite. And then fread. Where is freading? Fread. Okay, we have this the structure. Okay, the structure variable, and then the size of your structure, and then how many record you want to read, and then the pointer to your file. Okay, so similar to fwrite, but now we are reading. Okay, we are reading. So similar to fwrite. So we have here fread markah. Okay, and then size of the structure 1, and then fptr. Okay, and then here after we read one record, so we put it on the screen. Print F. Okay, so here we can see the student number, and then 1, 2, 3 ITP. Okay, student number. Okay, and then this is the number of the student number 1. Okay, and then we put it like this. Okay, and then ITP. Okay, and then the mark. Okay, we got the data already in the structure. So what we do, the mark is integer. Okay, later on we put the mark there, and then we can actually put a tab here. Okay, a tab, and then we can put discrete mathematics. Okay, and then this is the mark for discrete mathematics, and then we put another tab, and then we have the mark for SAD, and then this is the mark for SAD. Okay, and then we put a new line. Okay, after we print out, and then what we do here, we have how many? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this is I for student number I, and then ITP. So this one actually we get it from the markah. Okay, markah dot ITP, and then this is another one, markah dot discrete mathematics, and then another one is markah dot SAD. Okay. Okay, that is in the for loop. Okay, so for loop will go to the next student. Okay, so the next student will be printed as well on the next line, and then and so on. Okay, and then after we print out everything, then we can close the file. Okay, we can run the program. Start. Okay, we have the file already created in the previous program. Now we run the program. So this is the output. Okay, we don't get it nicely on the screen. Okay, because of new line here. We forgot to put a new line there. Okay, so otherwise we got the ITP, discrete mathematics, and then SAD. Okay, SAD, discrete mathematics, ITP. Okay, class. ITP, discrete mathematics, SAD, we have a tab. If you don't like the tab, it's not so, you can create your own output. Okay, to make it nice on the screen, for example, here we can put another tab here. Okay. And then we compile the program and then run it again. So this is the data. So if you look at the file, okay, this is not the file, the one, okay, the Max bin, okay, Max bin. See, this is the data in your file. You cannot see the data, but the data is there. See, okay, the data has been read by the program and then printed on the screen. Okay, this is not this here. Okay, we put it there. Okay. We run it again. Okay, now we have it better. Okay, space between the marks is a bit better here. Okay, so this is what we get. Okay, from the output. Okay, we got the mark correct, 70, 60, and so on. Okay, class. But in the file, we cannot see it, isn't it? Okay, we cannot see the data. Okay, since we know there are 4 records in the file, so we don't need to check for end of file. Okay, we just read all the record. Otherwise, you can check for end of file. Okay, if you don't know how many records are there, and then you use while loop to read the data, isn't it? So that one actually you can detect for end of file to stop the while loop. Okay, but in this case, we can use for loop because we know there are only 4 students data in the file. Okay. Okay, class. So that is binary file. Binary file is good because we can store a lot of data at one time. Okay. And then you can read the data one by one. Okay. And it's simpler because you don't need to specify the reading as variable. You just read the whole record and then put it into your struct. Okay, this is the fread. Put it into your struct marker. Okay. Okay, that is number 4 or 5. Number 5, isn't it? And then now it is number 6. Okay. From the marks bin file. Okay. So this one create and so first search and display the marks for specific student based on the student number entered by the user. Okay, the sample output is illustrate. So marks for all students, enter the student number to display. Okay, number 1. Then it will number 1. So this one you just check for the student. Okay, check for the student number. Okay, student number. If it is number 1, then you print the first one. If it is number 2, then you print the second one. Okay. So this one we can actually we can modify this one. Okay. Save as. There's still time, isn't it? Okay, this is number 6. Okay, number 6. Lab 10B number 6. Okay. So we have the same structure. Okay. And then we open the file for this one actually for with read binary. Okay, we just want to read the file. And then we go to the else part. Okay. Else part, if you look at the output here, we still got the same output as previously. Okay. But then we can actually search for a particular student. Okay. To find the specific, okay, specific student number 1 or number 2 or number 3. Okay. And then so what we do here, this is the same thing. Okay, we can do that. Okay, the same thing. There's no changes until up to this output, marks for all students. Okay. And then we got it, just enter the student number to display 0 to quit. Okay. So we just enter that one. Okay, print F So what we can do, we can actually repeatedly do this. So we can use a do while loop. Okay, do while. Okay, do this. Okay, while. So the student actually we search for student number. Okay, so we can create one variable here, student number. Okay, student number. So while student number, okay, and not equal 4, not equal 0. Okay, 0 to quit. Okay, so we allow the user to enter, search for student number that they wish to display. Okay, so what here we just print F. Okay, ask the user to enter the number they want to search. Enter the student number to display. The student number NO to display. Okay, and then 0 to quit. Okay, to quit, and then the user will enter the number there. Okay, so we just scan F. Okay, this is an integer student number. Student number. Okay, so we got the student number, then we can, so we do here and then search for student number. So we can, the user can enter the number and then we just check whether the number is correct or not. Okay, if the student number is while student number not equal to 0. So if student number greater than 0, then we do this. Okay, student number is n, because otherwise because people can also enter and student number less than 5. Okay, we just allow for greater than 0 and less than 5. Okay, then we do, otherwise we can display the error after that. Okay, for example here we can check if student number is bigger than 4, then we just display invalid input. Okay, invalid input, and then we ask the user to enter it again. Okay, and then this is for that one. Okay, or less than 0, student number greater than 4, or okay, or student number less than 0, for example. Okay, then invalid input. So if student number is correct, then what we do, so we just see what is marks for designated student. Okay, marks for designated student. So we put that printf. Okay. marks for student. Okay, new line. Okay, and then we just print F. So here, when we search for the binary file, we use this F6. Okay, F6 record start with 0. Start record with 0. So we can seek for this one. Okay. F6 and then the file pointer and then the client number. This is client number multiply by that one size of and then 6 cents. So we know the location of the if you look at the file record, we can imagine the file as print here. Okay, we can imagine the file as listed in the file like this. Okay, first record, second record, third record, and then the fourth record for the student, isn't it? So this one, okay, the first one is actually start with 0. Okay, if you use S6, here actually the first record actually is located at 0 position in the file. Okay, so this one is 0 here. Okay, so the second one is this one is actually number 1. Okay, this one is number 2. Okay, and then this one is number 3. Okay, so using F6 you can actually access a particular record, okay, according to the number. Okay, because we set the student as 1 2 3 4, not 0, then we can use the F6 to get a particular record in the file. Okay, F6. If you look at this one, okay, F6, this one is client number. Okay, client number -1 because client number start from 1. Okay, and then record start with 0. Okay, so F6 actually can be used to search, okay, the which record you want to read. We know the first record is for student number 1. Second record is for student number 2. Third record is student number 3, isn't it? So if the user want to access student number 1, then we know it is the first record. First record actually start at 0. So we just go to that location. Okay, go that to the location. How to go to that location? We know the one that the user want to search, which is student number. So what we do here, we just F6. Okay, F6, and then we use the file pointer, isn't it? FPTR. Okay, FPTR, the file pointer. Okay, and then we use the student record to access the particular record that we want to get from the file. Okay, so which is student number. This one is actually, if we look at this one, we can put it in the bracket, isn't it? So student number 1, so this one actually we put it in bracket and then multiply by the size of record. Student number 1 minus 1, because we start with student number as number 1. But the record actually stored at location 0. Okay, start with 0. So this one is multiply by the size of your structure, isn't it? okay, the size of the structure. Okay, the size of the structure. So size of your structure. Struct max. Okay, struct max. Size of struct max. Okay, so we'll get to that particular record. Okay, we get to that particular record. And then we go to another one. So this is F6 and then 6 set. 6 set is actually we start the beginning of the file. Okay, we seek from the beginning of the file, which is at 0 is the first location. Okay, 0 is the first location. So we put the 6 set. Okay, so here we have 6 set. 6 set. Okay, starting from the beginning of the file. So for example, let's say you want to search for student number 1. Okay, so student number 1 as the student number -1 is 0. 0 multiplied by this, you get to the first location. Okay, the first location. So you get at the 0 location in the file. So from there you read the file. Okay, you read the file from that location. Okay, so F6 is actually just to move your file pointer to the location that we want. So student student number 1 -1 is 0. 0 times your struct size, you get 0. So your file pointer will get to the 0 position. Okay, 0 position is the beginning of the file. So we can read the data from there. When you read the data from there, you read the whole structure, meaning that you get one data. Okay, you get one data for the structure. So we can use fread here. Fread. Okay, this is normal fread that we have done before. Okay, this one. Okay, we just want to use to read one data. Okay, fread marka size of max one data. Okay, so we got the data already. So what we do, we just print f. Okay, okay, we display the marks to the so we can copy paste this one. Okay, print f the data. Okay, put it here. Okay, we just read one data only. Unlike here we read many data, but this one we just read one data according to which student the user want to search. Okay, so student number, this one is actually we don't put mark, not I anymore. This is actually STD number, student number. Okay, okay, and then the marks ITP. Okay, marks discrete mathematics, and then SAD. Okay, and then we can try to compile this program. So this is scanf student number. The problem is function main expected before that token. We forgot to put here semicolon. We put it inside. Okay, compile it again. Okay, we know this is our file. Just we cannot see it, but the file, when you run the program, then you can get it like this. Okay. Okay, the first part similar to the previous program. Okay, we display the marks, but now we can search for the particular student. Enter the student number to display. We want to display student number 3, number 2, for example. Okay, student number 2, ITP 92, discrete mathematics 95, and then 68. Okay, and then we can enter other number, 6, for example, invalid input. Okay, number 2, invalid input. Okay, and number 3. So we get number 3, marks for designated student number 3 is 72. So that's how you search a binary file. Okay, you just position your file pointer to a particular record. Okay, because the size of the record is actually they are the same. If you go to location, for example, integer multiplied by the size of your structure, then you get to that position in your file. Okay, and then you can read the data at that position. When you read the data at that position and then put it into your structure, then you get the data at that position. Okay, and then here, for example, if you put 4, then we get the student number 4. Okay, class. Understand how F6 is used to search for to move your file pointer. It's actually, it doesn't search anything actually. But since we know the arrangement of the data in the file, where we have first student, second student, third student, and fourth student, then we can actually position the file pointer where we want. Okay, using F6. Understand, class? Are you still with me or not? Can I use string compare for binary? String compare. String compare, in this case, is not easy because the file, because we are reading the data one by one. Okay. If you use string compare, can, but the problem is you read all the data in your file. First data, second data, third data, fourth data, and so on. Okay. Instead, if you use F6 here, we don't need to read the data. We just jump to the location that we want and then read the data. You can use string compare, but the problem is that you need to go through all the data because we want to search for. We don't store we don't store the student number actually. The student number is not stored in the file. We only arrange the order of the student according to the first student, second student, third student, and fourth student. So we know the first student is actually student number 1. Second record is actually for student number 2. So we know the arrangement like that. But still, actually, you can use string compare. But the problem is that if you want to search particular item in binary file, it's useless because there's no difference between this file and sequential file. You still go through all the record. Understand? But the purpose of using binary file is that you can jump to the location, okay, randomly. So that's why we call it as random access file. Okay. And then understand, yes, sir, say, yes, still like what if I want to search the student according to their course? You want to search a student according to their course. In binary file, can, but then still you have to do it sequentially. Okay, you go through record by record. Okay, until the end. So can you post this lab? Yeah, I will put it in Ellip later on. Okay, I will put it into Ellip. But as better to, as you know, if you look at the example in lecture slide, we arrange the data according to account number. So we have account number 1, number 2, number 3, isn't it? So that we can jump to particular location. Similarly, for this lab, we have student number 1, number 2, number 3. So better if you want to store your data in your file and then you want to search according to this location. Location number 1, number 2, number 3, and so on. Okay. But still, actually, you can search for particular data in that structure. For example, student course or student metric number. But then you need to access the data. Okay, and then do the comparison. That one actually is not. I think it's not cheap because you need to go through every data. Okay. Still, I have a booster shot on Thursday, and I'm not sure if I can come back to do the test. Can I sit for the test at 8 a.m.? Yeah, can. You can sit them because there are many lab tests actually going on this week. Okay, we have lab tests tomorrow, starting from tomorrow at 10 a.m. But they have a different set of questions. Okay, so just let me know what time you can do the test. Okay, I will let you do the test. Okay, only you can do the test at that time according to your metric number. Okay. So you can do it on 8 a.m. on Thursday as well. Okay. Or on Wednesday. Wednesday, we got, I think there is a schedule for Wednesday. Is it? I'm not sure whether we have a schedule on Wednesday or not. I think there is. We have tomorrow set A, B, C. Send me email. Okay. Send me email. I will reply to you. Okay. All available tests that you can sit. Okay. And then you can choose one. And then I will put the test on Ellip for you to do the test. Okay, for those who cannot sit on Thursday afternoon. Okay, and then so for the project video presentation, do we need to demo the input output only, or we need to explain the code as well? It's up to you. If you think explaining the code actually will make your presentation better, then you can explain the code. But if you think explaining the code actually just wasting time because no one can understand your code, okay, then you can explain the input and output. But sometimes, sometimes you want to show that this input actually related to which part of the code. Okay, sometimes maybe you want to explain that kind of information, then you can actually explain the code a bit. But not every line. You go through every line, this is the declaration, and so on. That actually will make your presentation boring. Okay? Okay, so don't make your presentation boring. Okay, if you see that your presentation is boring, then think about how to make it interesting. Okay, and then send me email. Okay, those who cannot sit for the one who cannot sit for lab test on Thursday, I will give you the alternative time, but you will do the different set. Okay, different set. Okay, class. I think that's it for today. We have 1 minute left. Okay, we have done all the lab question. I will put all the answer in Ellip. Okay, for all the lab just now. You can go through it. If there's no other question, then I'll see you on Thursday for the lab test. Okay. Okay, no worries. May I scan? Yeah, attendant. No, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Where is it? Where's the attendant? This one. Okay. Okay, class. See you on Thursday. The lab test is on structure. Okay, don't forget. Okay.